I'm 𝗂𝗄𝗄𝗄𝗄, a recognized thought leader in the Microsoft Dynamics community and a Microsoft MVP for business application. Welcome to the Get Your New View podcast. Keep listening to learn how we work with frustrated Business Central and Nav users who struggle to use their system and find the answers that they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better business decisions, and even love their system. This season, we are sharing information about new Business Central functionality released by Microsoft in the 2025 Wave 1 release.
In this next session, we're going to talk about the Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central 2025 Wave 1 release improvements related to productivity, specifically for governance, administration, and user interface. There's a whole lot of great new improvements here, and myself, Kim, and Carrie will all be sharing some of the things that we really think will have the biggest impact for you and for your users to unlock productivity.
Update the sandbox environments to preview versions. This is a huge feature. In the past, you'd have to create a new sandbox that is preview only. This sandbox would contain Kronos data only, so makes it hard to test with your data until it's actually released. This functionality is going to allow customers to update your sandbox to a preview release. This way you can identify and address any issues that you have with your data. You can test new functionality with your data. You can validate, and this one is huge, validate installed apps and integrations. And in theory, it should give you a shorter time to upgrade. View app compatibility with future versions in the admin center. This is another nice feature. While you get notifications now, after the sandbox tries to update, they can get lost in your inbox. This will allow you to have better visibility for admins and will allow them to identify issues and address them sooner. It also should prevent you from scheduling an update when you clearly have an issue with one of the apps in your environment. And I would say that more and more we are seeing this with the latest releases. I just had this in a couple of my environments that I have where we were trying to upgrade the sandbox. I ran into an issue with customization that we had for the timesheets because the timesheet tables got changed. So if I had seen this first, I could have addressed that issue and then went ahead and scheduled my update. Automate environment management with Power Platform Connector. I like where Microsoft is going and trying to automate a lot of the admin features and things that are some of those tasks that if they're automated, they kind of make your life easier. So I like how they're trying to make your lives easier as an admin. This one is providing the Power Platform Connector to Business Central Admin Center API. And by using that connector, what you can do is you can automate environment management tasks using Power Platform and including Microsoft Copilot Studio as well. You can use those platforms to create environments, copy environments, schedule environment updates, integrating environments with other systems. So there's going to be some nice automation that's going to be coming in the future that will allow you to automate some of those tasks that are maybe a little bit lower level and are perfect for automating.
Today, I'd like to show you a couple of simple but effective user interface improvements that have come out with the new version. The first one is a simple preview of PDF attachments. For those of you who use attachments quite often, you'll definitely notice this particular feature. If I look at this customer card and view this attachment, I can see that I have an attachment here, but instead of having to download this to view it, I can simply click the link and view the document right here in the application. I think this is something that we've come to expect in lots of other applications, and it's nice to see it showing up here inside of Business Central. The other two improvements have to do with the size of the screens that we see when we're not using things full screen. A good example is when we look at a customer card We can open this up in full screen or widescreen view. And if we want to see this in narrow view, we can see that there's quite a bit available here. In the past, this particular view has been quite a bit more narrow. So when we've had the FactBox expanded like I do here, we haven't been able to see much of the fields on the left-hand side. You can always choose to toggle off the FactBox and make this quite a bit larger, but the difference between the wide view and the narrow view has become a little bit less, making the narrow view most likely the preferred view that people might use when they're using larger sized screens. In addition to making changes to the narrow versus wide view, there are also some changes to what we can see with the FactBox expansion size. You'll see that we can now resize the FactBox area by a significant amount. This is something that wasn't really able to be personalized in the past, so you can see you can make this quite narrow, taking advantage of a little bit more screen real estate on the left-hand side, or if you like to see more of these cues and links available, you can make this quite wide. This also applies inside the narrow view. So if I choose to put this into place, I'm in wide layout right now. If I go to a card and FactBox into place, I can now make adjustments here as well. Not as much as I can when I'm on the full screen view, but any additional personalization, I think, makes this more user-friendly for the people who are using it. So 3 great improvements to the user interface: the ability to be able to preview what we have with our documents as a simple PDF inside the document without downloading, changes between the wide and narrow views to make this a little bit more easy to see, and then the ability to be able to change things in our FactBox, no matter which screen we're on, according to your preference. So continued great improvements to user interface just to make things easier to use and more able to be personalized in just about any way you can think of.
There are some changes to the application as well, and what we'll notice for some of these is that oftentimes these are things that might need to be enabled or modified in a setup by an administrator. So I will call your attention to these different setups and changes as I walk through each of the examples. The first example of an application change is the ability to define allowed languages. And if you'd like to learn more about this, the link is at the bottom of the PowerPoint slide as well. But let's take a look at this in Business Central. In Business Central, if I go to my settings, I have the option to set my language. And if I click into available languages, I have a very long list of languages, and this might make it difficult to find the language I want. There is a new feature called Allowed Languages. And if I select Allowed Languages as an administrator, I can actually select the languages I want my users to be able to use. So let's do English for the United States, English for Canada, and let's also do Danish. Now, if I exit this page and if I go back into my settings, if I click into language, I can see that now I have a much more limited list that has been filtered by my administrator to the languages that I'm allowed to select. Next, we'll look at how to avoid document number posting errors on project journals. This is what would formerly be known as job journals. And this feature is a feature that we've actually had on different types of journals, and Microsoft has now extended this to the project journal. This is something that does not need to be enabled or set up by an administrator. You should see this option on the action bar when your software is upgraded to the version that has this available. I'm on a project journal in Business Central and I have it filled out. And if I run my preview posting, I can see that it doesn't like my document number. It's telling me that the document number must be J00001. And this is because of the number series. So if I go back to my journal, what I actually can do is I can use this new option on the project journal to renumber my document numbers. So let's go ahead and click on that, and we'll just say yes. This is only one line. It shouldn't take long. Notice that my document number went from a 6 to a 1. So what this is doing is it's looking at that number series, suggesting the next document number. Now if I run my preview posting, I should be able to post to my project ledger with no issues. Another added application feature is checking total purchase amounts on documents. Beneath the lines of a purchase invoice, I have some different totals. I have my subtotal, I have some discount information, I have my total excluding tax, my tax, and then my total including tax. If I go to Purchase and Payables Setup, there is a new option to check document total amounts. If I hover over that, it gives me an additional tooltip information. So let's toggle that on, and let's return to our purchase document, and let's go ahead and refresh. After refreshing my screen, I can see 2 new fields in the general section of my purchase invoice. I have my document amount including tax and my document amount tax. So now what I can do is I can fill these in to be able to compare with my line totals down below. If my document amount including tax is $43.81.80, I can enter that, and I can see that my document amount tax is calculated. In this case, I can see that my total document amount and my total document tax amount are a little bit different. So maybe this got miskeyed into the system. When I go to post my invoice, I'm going to get an error that the document amount including tax is not equal to the total lines. So I can come back and I can make that update to whatever is wrong. If I run a preview posting, however, you'll notice that I don't see this document amount error message at that time. It's only when I go to post the document. I think this is a good feature to have. Sometimes you might have a penny or two of rounding on invoices, especially for tax, depending on how many decimal points the vendor invoice is calculating. So I do think that this is a good check to have in place if you choose to have your administrator enable it.
And I do see we have a question from Shelley on the purchase document check. She asks, is this also available on purchase orders? I did not specifically test out purchase orders, so I would have to look at that. But I do know it's available for the invoicing function, which can be done from a purchase order. So I don't know the answer to that, but that's a great question. I am hoping to look into that.
There's some pretty neat little features in there. So I really like seeing how things are progressing in general with some of those improvements. And I was a little bit surprised that some of the features that we saw didn't exist in the system already. They made so much sense, right? The one with the PDF attachment that I had shown kind of comes to mind. I'm really glad to see that. And I'm hoping that we're seeing that coming through in all the areas of the software where we have attachments.
I'm Carrie Peters. Thank you for tuning in to the Get Your New View podcast. For more episodes like this on YouTube, click the subscribe button and ring the bell to ensure you get notified whenever new content comes out. If you're listening to the audio podcast, please share an honest review on Apple Podcasts. If you're ready to rethink today for tomorrow, contact us to speak with our expert team. You won't find the level of no-nonsense, real-world experience we offer anywhere else, and we're here to put that experience to work for you.